I'm really happy to be here to share this time with you. And it's very sweet to see some people I know and to get introduced to all of those I don't know. I am in Colorado, a new transplant to Colorado. I've been living in far Northern California for over 40 years. And so here I am in a new place and with you, newly with you, and very happy to be here. And Jean has a poochie there on her lap. So we even get a little puppy to join us in our practice today. Doesn't it just make everything better? I mean, look, look at this. So one of the ways that I love to begin any Sangha is to invite anybody whose camera is not on, if it works for you to turn your video on just for a couple of minutes, that we'd love that. If not, I totally get it. But lean in a little bit. Look at each other. Get a sense of our Sangha for right now. We've never all been together in this formation, and we will probably never be exactly again in this formation. And it's really lovely to let yourself be seen and to see other people. And the thing is, nobody knows who's looking at whom when, so don't be shy. Doesn't matter. You just show up and let yourself be seen. Look at the smiles. Isn't this lovely? So I am delighted to be here with you this afternoon. And what we'll do is have a meditation, and then I'll offer some Dharma thoughts, and then we'll talk with each other. We'll talk with each other, which is actually my very favorite thing to do, is to talk about our practice of the Dharma within Sangha, and just open it up for all of us. So we begin by settling in. There's a traditional instruction about coming into a meditation practice that came from the Buddha, and he said, acquire a seat. Acquire your seat. I think that's an interesting way to approach coming into a practice, but I also like the invitation to find a comfortable way to place your body. Be comfortable, be at ease, whether you're seated, whether you're standing or reclining, arrive. You can let the eyes close if that's comfortable for you. If you prefer not to close your eyes, that's totally fine. Have a gentle gaze downward. Perhaps you notice sounds around you, maybe sounds close by or further away. Maybe there's a sense of the air, temperature. Is it warm? Is it cool? Is it pleasant? Is it not pleasant? Is it just right? Just noticing temperature. Getting a sense of the places the body is connected to whatever it's touching. The furniture, the floor. Knowing that you're deeply supported by the earth. A sense of being grounded in the body right here at this time. Becoming aware of the breathing. Invite yourself in to just simply breathe and know you're breathing. There's nothing special to do. Perhaps you notice the movement the body makes in response to the breath, the rise and fall of the chest and the belly, on the inhale and the way it settles back and relaxes on the exhale. Perhaps sensing into the state of mind, the state of heart, whatever is here, letting it all be just as it is. Every breath in is an arriving, every breath out a settling. And in that space, at the end of the exhale, before the next breath, there's a release, there's a rest. Inviting yourself into a time of rest, a time of being just with this. And we'll sit quietly. Perhaps scan down through the body, noticing if there are any places of constriction, of tension. Oftentimes, there's some habitual tension or holding that happens on its own without much awareness. Scanning down, softening anywhere that would be of benefit to soften, perhaps softening the brow, unhinging the jaw a little bit, dropping the shoulders, releasing the belly, resting here. And if the mind slips away, starts thinking about whatever's happening later or whatever's happened before, know that it's not a problem. It's just what the mind does. Come back to this sense of being here, resting with the breath or resting with sensation, beginning again and letting it be fresh, just here. Softening again, letting the mind soften, the heart soften, letting go, letting be with every exhale, surrendering the weight of the body to the supports beneath you and around you, resting here. And from wherever you are, drawing the awareness into the space of the heart. However you sense your own heart center, as large, as small as it may be today, inviting yourself to be with the space of the heart. If you enjoy placing a hand on the heart to connect with the warmth of your own body, do that. And as you breathe, you might sense the rise and fall of the hand, the palm. And if you like, imagining with every breath in, it comes into the heart space from every direction, behind the heart and in front, the sides, diagonals, above and below. Every breath in from every direction brings in fresh, nourishing energy into the heart space. And every breath out, back out into every direction, leaves the heart with a little more capacity, soft, open, and stable. This is the heart's breath, breathing in and out of the heart space, the receiving of nourishment, and offering out, sharing your goodness. Over and over again, a receiving and an offering in and out of the heart. And it may be there are energies of the heart that are ready to dissolve, to be released. Every breath in brings in this nourishing energy, and every breath out, a releasing, a letting go. Receiving and offering, receiving and releasing. And if you'd like to offer yourself some metta phrases, these beautiful resolves of goodwill, you can repeat this silently to yourself. May I be safe and protected. May I be safe and protected. May I be peaceful and happy. May I be peaceful and happy. May I be healthy and strong. May I be healthy and strong. May I live with ease and well-being. May I live with ease and well-being. And as important as it is to offer ourselves our own goodwill, we offer it out as well to anyone, anywhere who may need it. The millions who need it, or maybe the one next door or in the next room who would benefit. Bringing anybody to mind and offering these same wishes out for their safety, happiness, health, and ease. This is a poem from Meister Eckhart called Love Does That. All day long a little burro labors, sometimes with heavy loads on her back, and sometimes just with worries about things that only bother burros. And worries, as we know, can be more exhausting than physical labor. And once in a while a kind monk comes to her stable and brings a pear. But more than that, he looks into the burro's eyes and touches her ears, and for a few seconds the burro is free and even seems to laugh, because love does that. Love frees. Making your way back. So I want to check in with you for a couple minutes. What did you notice in the meditation, if anything? If you would like to unmute and make yourself known. Anybody at all, what did you notice? Well, I know what I noticed is that every time I come into meditation, I'm really glad I'm there. That's really what I notice, is that over and over and over again, it doesn't have to be some big illumination. And sometimes there is, or sometimes there's small things that come up. But I know I'm glad that I'm there, that the time to settle and be present always feels important and beneficial. So I want to talk today a little bit about metta practice, the practice of loving kindness, the practice of wishing well for self and other, anybody at all, any being, human or more than human. You know, in this time of transition, I think any time actually, and I'm thinking about seasonal transition around coming up into the winter solstice and It's not very many more days. Today's the 18th, a few more days until winter solstice. And there's a little turning, right? There's this turning of the earth where the days start to lengthen a little bit. And I think that this is a tender and beautiful time of getting darker and darker, and the earth is quieter and quieter. And in so many cultures, it's an incredibly busy time with the holidays. But in some cultures, it's not. In some cultures, it's very, very quiet. And it's such a lovely time for all kinds of contemplative practice from all kinds of wisdom traditions. And I particularly love the practice of metta, of loving kindness. Anybody who's familiar with metta practice? Let me get an idea here. Okay, so it looks like we know, and we're there. All right. Lori B, yeah.
I was actually in a class, I think yesterday morning, and they said metta is compassion.
Isn't it? Brittany, thank you. Metta
Yep.
is compassion, right? The movement of the heart to take good care of oneself or another. It's really that. And it doesn't have to be the physical taking care of. It can be the movement of the heart that says, I care about you. It's the movement of the heart that says, I care about me and I care about you. And I want to tell you that. And I want to wish you well. That kind of practice is so beautiful. So the wish for oneself to be happy, to be okay, the wish for others, it's a friendliness, it's a warm-heartedness. And I think my very favorite translation of metta comes from the British Pali scholar John Peacock, and he translates metta as to grow fat with friendliness. To grow fat with friendliness. Isn't that great, Jean? It's really, really beautiful. I get the image of walking down the street and I see across the street a friend who I haven't seen before. And it makes my heart, like in the cartoons, go wah, wah, wah. That's metta. That is that kind of joy, that really happy to see somebody else and say, how are you? I hope you've been well. That brings about that kind of uplift, that kind of buoying of the heart. And this practice of friendliness, of literally imagining turning the thermostat of the heart to warm, is where we train as a starting point over time. We don't always start there. Clearly, we don't start there. And that it is a training. But ultimately, to lead with the heart from a place of friendliness, it can become a default setting through practice, through reminders, through every single time you have the inclination towards wishing someone well, let yourself feel it. Every time you have the inclination to wish yourself well, feel it. Let it come in. To really see the goodness in others, to really see the goodness of others. This movement of the heart in the presence of a friend, in the presence of wanting to respond with kindness, is such a beautiful inclination, and we need it. We need it. The world is a tricky place, and the more each one of us chooses friendliness, chooses kindness over the opposites, and it's a choice, it changes things. It changes me, and it can really change the person that I'm with. I remember many years ago, as I was learning this practice and seeing how did it really work? Like, I can wish well for all kinds of people, including myself, but I don't really know what happens to those wishes. Does it reach that person? Is metta magic? I don't think so. But I know what it does is it changes my heart, and it changes how I show up in conversations with myself, with everything that I do. And when my children, who are now grown adults, were in high school, I worked in town near the high school. And I used to have this incredible fear of, oh my God, it's lunchtime, and where do teenagers go at lunch? and whose cars are they in? Anybody relate? I mean, this, yeah, Madeline saying, yeah. And if I would hear a siren at lunchtime, it scared me. It really scared me. Oh my God, whose kid is in that car? Is my kid there? Where are they? And I started this practice of metta. When I would get scared, especially with a lunchtime siren, I remember sitting in my office thinking, whatever's happening, I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay. And it settled me down. And I learned, oh, that's a metta practice. To wish them to be okay wasn't going to change the outcome of whatever was happening and whatever the reason was for a siren, but it helped me settle. And I know that when I am more settled, I have more capacity. And I think that's a function of metta. I really think it's a function of compassion, of saying, oh yeah, I hope I can feel okay. And I hope that they're okay. So I want to bring in today the Buddha's teaching on loving kindness. And I know some of you have done this with me before, and it's a beautiful, beautiful practice. Has anybody here read the Metta Sutta? Do you know it? I know you do, Victoria and Madeline and Michelle. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and this is actually the Buddha's teachings on loving kindness. And I want to read it and share it, and then we'll talk about it. It's a beautiful, beautiful teaching. Okay, can everybody see this? Does it need to be bigger?
It looks good on my end, Heidi.
Okay, good. So I'm going to read it to you, and I encourage you, if you're somewhere where you can read out loud with me, read it out loud. You're all on mute, but read it so you hear it in your voice. The Metta Sutta, the Buddha's words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a parent protects with their life their child, their only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all unwholesome sense desires, is not born again into this world. It's so beautiful. So my question to you is, what did you notice? Is there a line in here that particularly resonated for you, that maybe you had that sense of, oh, I want that? Or, I don't know about that. Did something push you away? Is there something that says, I'm curious about that? Whatever it might be, I'd love to hear what you think, and let's talk about it. And anybody can unmute and say, what touched you? Pleasantly or unpleasantly? Michelle, please. Let's get you unmuted. Hang on a sec. Hang on. We'll get you unmuted. There you go.
There we go. So I can't see the screen well. I don't remember the exact, but when the lines about may all beings deities omitting none.
Yes.
And I think there's so much that speaks to me in this, but I think it's really the omitting none, because over the last couple of months too, I'm realizing a little bit more, just like in feeling the not omitting none. I mean, I surprised
Yeah.
myself even after I'm in Canada, but still the elections. I mean, it affects the whole world, and I just remember, hearing the news, and the first thought that came to mind was, you know, may he be at peace, in a way that I think when you're at peace, when you're in ease, you act better. And so the
It's so
idea of
true.
omitting none,
Yeah.
um, omitting none is, I think, very powerful.
Thank you. Omitting none. Right. It doesn't mean you have to like everybody at all. It doesn't mean you need to agree, because acceptance does not mean agreement. It's not the same. But to not put anybody out of your heart is the omitting none. And that's a really important practice and not easy. This is not easy. This sutta is not easy at all. In fact, my primary teacher, some of you might know Sylvia Boorstein, she is my primary mentor. And for many years, this was the only piece of paper she would bring with her to teach. Instead of piles of notes and books, she would bring the Metta Sutta, because so much of the whole of the Dharma is in here. Thank you, Michelle. Who else? What did you notice? Jean, please.
Two lines really resonated with me. Even as a parent protects with their life their child, their only child.
Yes.
Because I remember when I have two children, and almost with surprise thinking, I would throw myself in front of a car, or, and it was just because, yeah, I had heard parents would, and I just couldn't imagine self-sacrifice like that. But this resonates, so that one should cherish all living beings, even as a parent protects
That's
their
right.
child.
So
Yeah.
is there a difference between my child and your child? I think that might be what's coming to, right. One should protect
Yeah.
all living beings.
Mhm.
Just as I would protect my own child, I would be moved to protect yours. That's right. And isn't that such a primal feeling? You have your own kids, you go, oh yeah, I'd jump in front of a bus. Hope not, but
Right. I know. So surprised about it, like,
yeah. Thank you. Who else? Victoria, so nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I've missed you.
You too.
And when you were asking what people had to share after the meditation, I didn't want to embarrass you, but I now I'm going to share it anyway.
Okay, thank you.
No, you could have been leading the meditation in Chinese. It was just so lovely to hear your voice. I really miss your voice.
Thank
So I
you.
hope, my scheduling's so complicated. I haven't been able to join anything for some time, but, I mean, anything that you're doing, but it's just really great to be here and I'm so glad.
I'm so glad you're here.
It's a great way to, go into whatever the solstice and the holidays.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Something very judgmental jumped out of me.
Great. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes.
Wait, if you can scroll to the bottom. I mean, I know the Metta Sutta, but I wanted to get the actual,
Can
wait,
you
no,
see it?
it's very tiny. I think I'm gonna have to
Oh,
get
okay.
glasses for Christmas. It was bigger before, or was it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, and I don't know, it's not relevant to this group right now, but it's something that's been haunting me lately in a number of the classes I'm doing and things like that. By not holding to fixed views, I had actually forgotten that was in the Metta Sutta. I mean, it's in Buddhism
It's
everywhere.
huge, isn't it? It's
Huge.
absolutely
And this is
huge.
going to sound terribly judgmental, but I mean it for myself as well as for everyone on the planet, that lately and it might be part of the climate right now, that these very enlightened, I was just in a very enlightened Zen Sangha this morning. It's a course that I'm doing right now. And people were just like shooting out these statements that were so fixed views, influenced or whatever, or motivated, just really,
Surprising, huh?
it was surprising, and it felt so almost violent. And I was so shocked because of the setting, and these people that I know are very dedicated practitioners, and I just thought it's so important to be vigilant about our language, that it's not that we may be holding fixed views without even realizing it, but if we listen to the words that come out of our mouths when we're in conversation, even, I mean, it just, I was really, I mean, in this case, I was probably being kind of holier than thou, because I was thinking, oh, what's the matter with these people? I until now, I really respected them as Zen practitioners. But then I thought, I'm sure I do it a million times a day myself. So it was a matter of, and then realizing just now what was profound was, because as I said, I'd forgotten that this was actually in the Metta Sutta. Like I know it's many other suttas. I thought how about the relationship between the fixed views and being able to practice metta.
This is huge. This is
And how to practice metta with the people that like in the recent, like in the, as a result of the election, major leaders and heads of state, how do we, act and speak wisely and use metta even in those contexts where, I mean, I come from a Christian background, as you know, this idea of love your enemies is to me exactly, just in different language, the same idea of practicing metta and not holding to fixed views, because we are going to have so-called enemies who don't think the way we do and don't act the way we want to act, etc. But nevertheless, if we need to lead with love in a healing act to, anyway, I don't mean to preach. I actually want to hear you talk about that.
It's a really important point. There's a difference between a fixed view and a view. And my understanding and my relationship to this place in this sutta is an invitation to self-reflect on my own core beliefs along with core limiting beliefs. And there's a difference, right? Because our ethics, our morality, the dedication through the Dharma to studying harmlessness, nonviolence, is a study. It's an ongoing practice. It doesn't mean that we're just going to figure it out and have it there and have it be done. So there's that. And there are also belief systems, biases, that get woven into us through conditioning, through fear, through agitation, through, I think, mostly a lot of fear. And a core belief is one thing. Like, I fundamentally believe that it is not right to steal from somebody. Okay, so let's just take that. Do I have a belief that says that, a biased belief that says anybody who's ever voted this way can't be in my heart? That is a core belief that limits my ability to have a wider perspective and to omit somebody. So this whole teaching is very, very tricky, because the imperative, I think, in this entire sutta is take a look inside and see where the biases are. And to your point, just because somebody is a dedicated practitioner doesn't mean they've got this stuff worked out. And fear still takes a hold. Anger still takes hold. Greed, ill will, and delusion, these toxins that are real, they come, there were these energies that come and go in different amounts. And so the necessity, why this is the teaching on loving kindness, from my experience, like I'm not a scholar, but this is my experience with this, is that says over and over again to cultivate a deep enough understanding to say, this person who is acting in a way that is causing harm is a reflection of their suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping that in mind, it doesn't condone horrible behavior. It does not at all condone it, but it softens the edge of it. I don't have to like behavior that feels really painful or harmful, but I have a very deep commitment in my life to not letting ill will take up residence in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
because it just degrades me. And I am the primary recipient. You are the primary recipient of all of your actions. And so I know that if I can really study this sutta and see how does it fit with what's happening in my heart, I have a better chance of not hanging on to ill will.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a training. And I really feel what you're saying about, wait a minute, I thought these people were like this. And then feeling the shock of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
There's
you.
so much to talk about here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Lori, how about you? What did you notice?
Well, the sutta itself, it holds so much. It's kind of like an overwhelming, like I will never be able to do all of these things. But of course, it's a process. But something that I heard yesterday that I thought was very helpful as far as using metta to let go of ill will
Mhm.
is that if there's a difficult person, whether personally or like a public figure, and we can't think of anything good or positive about the individual, that we can wish them free from suffering.
That's exactly right. That's
And
right.
so I just wanted to share that because it it helped me kind of read this and hear this differently today.
Thank you for saying that. And this is why so often, Lori, at the end of a practice period in the dedication of merit, offering up the goodness of our practice, that we say, may all beings be peaceful and happy and come to the end of suffering. And we are included in all beings. And that is so the greater suffering and the individual suffering, the interpersonal suffering, can be eased. May your suffering come to an end so you stop hurting people. I mean, it's really that direct. Yeah, thank you. Erin, how about you?
Hi, yeah, I noticed, well, it's more in the meditation, and then what you said before we began this was that I noticed that when you were talking about, is this like magic? Will this like change everything? But it's actually more something that may happen within you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had noticed in the meditation, I can't remember if it was like when we inhaled or if it was imagining love coming in, but I actually noticed I felt like in the back of my heart, it felt cold.
Very
It just
good.
felt like cold.
Yeah. And isn't that a very tender awareness?
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget about the back of the heart. I'm so glad you brought this up, because we move forward, like literally, physically moving forward in the body, but also what's next? What's my next thing? And Joseph Goldstein talks about it as toppling forward all the time. And we forget about the back body. And I think that in any kind of body-based practice, yoga, qigong, tai chi, whatever it is, when there's awareness of the back body, it opens something up. Oh yeah, there's something behind me, and there is a back of the heart. And so this practice of the heart's breath, breathing in and out from every direction, actually engages that. And so there's no judgment about, oh, the back of my heart is cold. No, the back of my heart needs some attention. I'm just going to hang out with the back of my heart, warm it up a little bit. Cold doesn't need to be negative. And we have all these, we have these connotations about warm and cold as positive and negative. What if it's just cold? Oh, that's what it's like right now. So keep doing that practice of imagining, the back of the heart. See what that's like.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else? What are you noticing, or what moved you in any way about this sutta?
We had one comment in the chat from Jennifer where she said, I wanted to say this feels very hard for me right now. So it's a training question mark.
Yeah. Yes. So if this that feels very hard, is it the practice that feels hard? Is it the sutta itself that feels hard? And yes, it's a training. It is such a practice. It is a lifelong practice, Jennifer. I avoided this for years. I avoided it because the practice itself, like when we did the meditation of the repetition of phrases, and we just did it for a couple of minutes, early on in my practice, I thought that the point of practice was to quiet my mind and to just focus on one thing. And then I learned this practice of metta, of repeating phrases that actually had some meaning in my heart over and over and over again. And I thought, why would I turn my mind into a broken record? May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be well. I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. And I really avoided it until I realized, because I was avoiding it so much, I needed to practice. I needed to try it out. And so I dove into the practice, attending some metta retreats, and it changed me very deeply. I think it changed me on a cellular level, and it changed my practice and helped me to understand what it means to incline the heart towards kindness, towards myself, not just others, but towards myself too. And it is a long, lifelong practice. And so when any practice feels perhaps inaccessible or really hard, I think that it's not something to overcome. I think it's something to just say, yeah, that's hard. This is lifelong, and I don't have to master anything. And there's intention in practice too, that the way I relate to it, which is when something is difficult, is maybe one day I'll learn to practice with that. And that is planting a seed, and that is enough. Is that helpful? Great, great, good. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to stop the share, and I want to tell you something else that's kind of fun. So when Sylvia Boorstein was first learning this practice, her primary teacher was Sharon Salzberg. This is many, many years ago. And Sylvia was in her early 40s. And so Sharon was in her early 30s. That's how long ago this was, because they're older now. And so Sylvia was on retreat with Sharon, and Sylvia came to Sharon and said, what do I do? How do I do this practice? And she says, here's what I want you to memorize. Memorize this, and then come back and talk to me about it. And this is known as the benefits of metta. People who practice metta sleep peacefully, wake peacefully, dream peaceful dreams. People love them. Angels love them. Angels protect them. Poisons, weapons, and fire won't harm them. Their faces are clear. Their minds are serene. They die unconfused. And when they die, they are reborn in heavenly realms. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just beautiful. So to know that whether this is real or fantasy or just a beautiful prayer, know that your practice of metta matters. It matters. The inclination of the heart towards kindness matters a lot. And it could be as easy as this: breathing in ease, breathing out peace. May you be at ease. May you be peaceful. May you experience peace. It doesn't have to be a long, complicated set of phrases. It can be just that simple. So I wish you well. I thank you for coming today. And I wish you ease and peace and good health and well-being. And to practice with what does it mean to grow fat with friendliness. And I'm going to turn it over back to Madeline.
Wow, thank you so much, Heidi.
You're welcome.
I felt it today so well. I'm just going to put real quick in the chat a link to our upcoming schedules. Let me hit return. So we are off next week for a little holiday break, but we should be returning the following week. I would just recommend if you could please check back to the Big Bear Retreat Center website, and we'll be posting all the teachers for January shortly. And then if any of you wish to connect with Heidi, do you mind offering where people can reach you, either your website or?
Yes, you can. Let me find it for you. Okay. Oops. I don't have my keyboard. Let's see.
Oh, here, I can type it in if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Pacificmindfulness.com. Where did we go here? Okay. You can find me anytime there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Classes, drop-ins, retreats, and importantly, I will be at Big Bear March 5th for a women's retreat. March 5th to March 9th, I'll be there with Lori Cousins and any women identified people new to practice, seasoned practitioners. Come join us. There is financial support. So if you're inclined, please come.
Yep. Again, that's March 5th, and it's the Sacred Path of Connection and Belonging. And we're calling it also a nature retreat.
It is a nature retreat. We're going to spend some time outside.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we have like 1 or 2 minutes if you wish to dedicate the merit or anything like that.
So we offer up the goodness of the efforts that we make to show up over and over again, to settle the mind, to soften the heart, to understand more deeply what it means to show up, to omit none, which includes ourselves. And we do this so all beings everywhere have enough to eat, are part of a welcoming community, have access to appropriate shelter, healthcare, and education, and can live with much less violence in a much safer world. May all beings be peaceful and happy and come to the end of suffering.
Thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank you for having me. I hope to see you all again. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely be inviting Heidi back. So you're all welcome to unmute and say goodbye, wish each other well. I'll miss you all next week and hopefully see everyone again the following
again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Bye,
Thank you all for
everybody.
joining us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.